Hi, and welcome back to Plating It with Wendy, where I share with you recipes which impress with ease. Today we're going to be making another of my favorite Christmas fruitcakes, and this one is a crowd pleaser. It does not require soaking of the fruits or making caramel. It's got a rich, deep color and absolutely delicious. It's quick and easy, so let's get started. To a heavy bottom pot, we're going to add 1½ stick, which is 3/4 cup of unsalted room temperature butter. And to that, we're going to add 1 cup of packed dark brown sugar. And now we're going to smash that down before we add in 3 cups, which is approximately 500 grams of mixed dried fruits, which I've coarsely chopped. To that, we're going to add in 1 cup, which is 200 grams of glacier cherries. To brighten things up and for a citrus flavor, we're going to add in the zest of 2 oranges. Let's add that in. And now let's zest the second orange. While zesting, you want to get only the top layer of the skin without getting the bottom. The bottom layer tends to give a little bittery flavor, and we don't want that in our cake. Now let's add that in. And now we're going to extract the juice of both the oranges. And we're looking to get 1/3 cup of the orange juice to add to the pot. And we're also going to add the zest of 1 lemon. And once again, we are looking only for the top layer of the skin. And now for a little kick, we're going to add 1/2 cup of cherry brandy. You could even add rum if you wanted. Now let's go over to the stove and cook it a little bit. Now we're going to give this a stir, and on a medium heat, we're going to allow it to come to a gentle boil. And now that it's come to a gentle boil, we're going to allow it to simmer for 10 minutes, stirring occasionally. Now this is going to help the dried fruits to absorb the alcohol and the juice and plump up. Now that 10 minutes has passed, we're going to take it off the heat and transfer it into a bowl, and we're going to allow it to cool till it comes to room temperature. And while that is cooling, let's line our cake tray. I'm going to be using an 8-inch cake tray, which is 3 inches high. I've cut out a double strip of parchment paper, which is 6 inches in height. And we want the parchment paper to come above the height of the cake tray, because that's going to act like a shield and prevent the cake from burning. But first, we're going to fold in about 1/2 inch at the base of the parchment paper. And I've measured the parchment paper to be a little over the circumference of the cake tray, so that it goes all around. And now using our scissors, we're going to just snip it on the diagonal. And this is going to help it to take the shape of the cake tray. You only want to snip the bottom portion which you have folded. Now that we've done that, we're going to take our cake tray, and I've got a little soft butter here. I'm just going to put my brush into that, and we're going to just brush it along the sides of the cake tray. This is going to act like the glue that's going to hold the parchment paper up. And we're also going to apply a little bit at the base. And we're going to take the paper and place it around the edge of the cake tray. And now we're going to place 2 parchment papers at the bottom. Now let's leave this aside and prep our dry ingredients. For the dry ingredients, we're going to go in with 1½ cups, which is approximately 200 grams of all-purpose flour. And I've already measured it out, and we're going to add this to the bowl. To that, we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and about 1/2 teaspoon or a little more of freshly grated nutmeg. That's looking good. And to our mortar pestle, we're going to add about 15 cloves, and we're going to smash them down till we get a fine powder. And now let's add that to the bowl. Now let's whisk that all together. Wow, I can get the aroma of all those warm spices in my kitchen. Okay, now that it's all well blended, let's add in 1/4 cup of coarsely chopped almonds and 1/4 cup of coarsely chopped walnuts, and blend it together. We want those nuts to get a coating of the flour on it. We're going to leave this aside and whip up the eggs. In a bowl, we're going to crack 3 large eggs, which are at room temperature. And to that, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of a pure vanilla extract. Let's whisk that together and break down the eggs. Now that the fruit mixture has cooled down, let's add in the beaten eggs. and give it a stir. And now we're first going to add in half of our dry ingredients. And we're going to use the cut and fold method to incorporate it in. And now that is just about mixed, we're going to add in the rest of the dry ingredients. And once again, we're going to use the cut and fold method to bring our cake batter together. Wow, this is looking so amazing already. Can't wait till it's baked. And now let's put that into our prepared cake pan. Just going to level that out. Okay, that's looking good. So now it's time to place it into the oven. Now we're going to place the cake in our preheated oven at 300 degrees Fahrenheit or 150 degrees Celsius. And we're going to allow it to bake for 45 minutes. Then we're going to lower the temperature to 275 degrees Fahrenheit or 140 degrees Celsius. And we're going to allow it to bake for another hour to an hour and 30 minutes, or until a skewer inserted into the center of the cake comes out clean. After lowering the temperature to 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 140 degrees Celsius, I bake the cake for 1 hour and 15 minutes. When the cake is still warm, you're going to use a skewer to make holes in the cake, and you're going to make about 10 to 12 holes. And now we're going to pour on about 1/4 cup of cherry brandy on the cake. And now we're going to allow it to cool completely till it comes to room temperature. And now that our cake has cooled, let's unmold it. We're first going to take out the paper from the sides. And now to take it out of the cake tray, we're first going to put the wire rack on the top and then topple it over. Wow. Now we're going to wrap it up and place it in a box. And once every week before Christmas, we're going to take it out, feed it with a little more of the cherry brandy, then wrap it again and place it back in the box. And we're going to repeat this process right up till Christmas. Now the best way to cut a rich fruit cake is to use a serrated knife and to saw cut the cake. That way you're going to get a clean cut when you cut the cake. Oh my goodness. Look at that. And now it's time to give the fruit cake a taste. But before we do that, if you're new to my channel or haven't subscribed already and love to try recipes that turn out right every time, you're at the right place. So go ahead, press that subscribe button, and while you're at it, if you hit the bell icon, you'll be the first to get notified every time I upload a new video. Okay, now let's give our cake a taste. I'm so excited. Wow, this cake is absolutely amazing. It's loaded with fruits and so moist. I really wish you could have tasted it over the screen. But you can always try out the recipe. So hop onto my website, platingitwithwendy.com, or you can hit on the link in the description box below for the full written recipe. Thanks for watching. See you soon.